Hello everyone and welcome back to, that's right, another episode of Faithful to the Traitors, where we are discussing, I don't think I said this last episode, we are discussing the Traitors New Zealand Series 2.
Yes.
I am Ben and I am still going along the ruse of being a faithful.
Yes, I'm Alex. I gave my liver away for science and then see it on TV the next day. It's just filthy.
What about your pooey intestines?
What about my pooey intestines? I need a good caloric. That's what I need. I need to get flushed through. Have you ever seen someone have a caloric? Like, actually seen it?
Apart from on You Are What You Eat, where they used to show the tube.
No, well, they should show the poo on that as well. That the woman with her pseudoscience, well, she's nuts, isn't she? But
Yes.
have you actually seen, like, when the tube, they get the tube and you just see these...
No.
Is
this how low this podcast is going
Yeah,
now,
we're
is
talking
it?
about poo now
Within
on
the
the
first
podcast.
30 seconds.
Yeah, we talk about poo. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Alex. Hello. And I am also Faithful. Just to remind you, don't forget you can get in touch with us at any time with any of your questions or thoughts or theories or... what else could they get in touch with us? Pictures. We'd be like children's television. Send us a picture and we'll post it on the wall behind us. faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com is our email address. You can find us on X/Twitter @TraitorsPodcast, on Instagram or Threads @FaithfulToTheTraitors. If you enjoy the show, like listening or watching us on YouTube, you can search for us on Faithful to the Traitors Podcast. You can help support the show by liking, subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, rating the show, giving us 5 stars, telling your friends.
Do you want to hear a rating? Someone's given us a review.
I would love that, but I would also like to remind people that you can find us, you can look for it while I say this, you can also help support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful.
I've got it up and ready already.
Good.
So we've got a review.
About time.
We've got a review. You can taste it or touch it. Tell me what it is.
Can I just look at it?
No. Okay, so here's a review.
You might argue it was a waste of time, but I found it enormously entertaining.
Thank you very much. Who was that sent
That was
from?
Paul Henry from New Zealand.
Oh, Paul Henry 102.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
He's endorsing the podcast.
Thank you, Paul Henry from New Zealand.
Some people may see it as a waste of time, but he was probably entertained.
He
so.
was. What does he watch us on? Does he watch us
YouTube.
live? No. Does he watch us live or does he watch us on a recording?
Oh, for God's sake.
Come on.
Okay, do it again. Set it up.
Okay, so this Paul Henry from New Zealand, our number one fan. What does he watch us? Does he watch us live or?
Well,
Video cassette tape.
Oh, I believe that's the case. Okay, thank you very much.
Shana.
hello, Paul Henry.
Hello, Paul Henry. Send us your gin.
Even though I don't drink. Right,
Well, nor
so,
do I. But like, just send us.
we just want to look at a bottle.
I just want to have I'd like it signed, and then in about
Oh, of
50 years'
course.
time, we could then go on Antiques Roadshow, and they say, "Oh, what a beautiful bottle this in."
Oh, the cancelled Paul Henry. Yeah.
Yes, and we can give them the story. We used to do a podcast when we were younger.
Younger.
Younger than that, or younger than when we'll be. God, I've been. What did I say? 50 years time. I'll be 92. 92-year-old Alex will be on Antiques Roadshow, and I'll present this bottle of gin. And they'll say, this is worth £20,000, which was probably not worth a lot.
Enough talk.
Okay, sorry.
Right, so
Yes.
we left off last episode where we didn't know who was going to be voted off. Much to my dismay, grandmother Jackie was banished.
I was
Not
surprised.
killed, so she could come back in series 3. We know how the rules work now on the Traitors, don't we? Where people,
Spoilers. That's what you always say to me. Spoilers.
where people can just return to the show.
Spoilers, everyone. Spoilers.
So yeah, we said goodbye. We've already done Jackie's fact file, so I don't need to go back there.
No,
she's
a
clairvoyant.
traitor. But we should point out that the deciding vote was Whitney's to have, and she was the one who voted for Jackie. And we must also remember that they did say that they were going to throw Jackie under the bus when they recruited
Yes.
her. So to be fair, they may be dishonest with a lot of things, but they kept to their word.
Get the word to that. Poor Jackie was to the slaughter. And we did say last week or last episode that Jane didn't vote for Jackie. She did.
She
We
did.
just
All
made a
three of them.
mistake.
All three of the traitors did vote for Jackie. Can I just bring up, what did Jackie mean? And I'm sorry for anyone listening with their kids in the car or just before bed.
It's a bit late for that. You've talked about poo, intestines, and chlorix
But
already.
I'm about to say a naughty word.
Right.
What did they beeped it out on the show? But we don't have the video cassette, so I can't do it. But what did Jackie mean when she said, "I didn't come here to fuck spiders"?
I don't know.
Is this a thing? Right, so
Is it? I'm guessing it's New Zealand slang.
Well, no, is it? Or is it like a reality show that happens, like, I don't know, is there a game on a reality show or something like that? It could, I suppose.
Not here to fuck spiders.
Oh, here you go. Ben's Googled it, everyone. Definition.
It's an Australian slang, actually, used to indicate one has serious business to pursue and should not be wasting time. So it says here that it's basically, I'm not here to fuck about. I'm here to get the job done. So she wasn't
But
just
why
here.
a
She wasn't just
spider? Like, could you insert any animal here?
it's on Urban Dictionary too.
Not here to fuck spiders. Sorry about the casual use of the word fuck.
Well, it's Jackie's fault.
Blame Jackie. Yeah, Jackie. Haven't you done that once? That's strange. So yeah,
That's
so
from
there you
Big
go.
Brother from like 20 years ago.
I reference things from old things. I'll start singing.
I don't know where the origin comes from.
Yeah, but why spiders? Gail? Come on, this is
Sorry,
dead air.
I know.
Right, okay,
it's because I'm
so-
trying to find the origin of this
so-
spider,
so-
but I
so-
can't find it. But it's from Australia, so I
Jackie's
don't know
gone.
what Jackie's doing.
Jackie's gone. She's gone to fuck a spider. Then
Well, she's not.
back-
She's here not to.
Yeah, but they're on the show, but now she wants to. She's gone to find.
Putting her feet up.
She's putting a feet. Well, she's
Fucking
putting
spiders.
8 feet up. Then fucking the spider. Then she's going to. What's happened to this show? She went to the turret, the Traitors turret, conclave. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a twist in the tale. Again, Paul Henry was loving
knock, knock on the door.
Paul Henry with his cane.
Paul Henry's wondering where the swinging party is. He still keeps getting the wrong room.
Yeah.
But...
Where's the bowl with the keys?
And they had to choose the thing that they do every series of every Traitors, but it's kind of a bit different on every series.
This one felt, though, that it had the desired effect a lot more than we've seen in other series. Like, this really did hone in on the people they picked heavily, and it's worked almost too well to the point that I think that you can now predict for the next 3 murder/eliminations, we've pretty much seen who they're going to be. And the first one was, the prophecy was fulfilled, because they had to choose 3 people to be gravediggers because Paul Henry has basically not been paying his staff enough.
Surprise, surprise.
I feel like illegal immigration was joined in with Paul Henry with this one. Like, he got angry and he wasn't happy about it. And so he... that sounds awful.
No, it's Paul Henry.
Yeah.
I've read all the articles about him. Say what you want.
No, we love Paul Henry. So they chose Noel, Brianna, and Andrew to be the minimum wage gravediggers.
Yeah. They thought, we're not going to put a traitor, because normally when this is on other series, they put word traitor in to make them not look like traitors. So these lot have gone, well, we're going to not put a traitor in because they're going to think there's going to be a traitor in them. And it's worked, like you said, it's worked a bit too well, because now the 2 that are left, Brie and who was it, Noel, they're basically they could be banished as traitors, both of them, but they have to actually still murder one of them.
Yeah.
So the traitors have done a bit of too good of a job here, because they have to murder someone they probably wouldn't choose to murder if they didn't have to. So yeah, it's all gone a bit.
They're literally safe for another round table now, because they got rid of one will be murdered tonight, and the third one is pretty much after the round table tonight, they were pretty much already talking about saying whoever's left is clearly going to be a traitor, so that's them.
This makes me laugh on the traitors when people are so confidently wrong. And we had it twice on this episode.
I love confidently wrong. That's what makes the traitor so good.
It's so funny. We had it with Andrew, where he was so confident that Noel was a traitor, so he had this big speech and plan and thing. And then also Brie then took it another step forward with her confidently wrong of, I'm double bluffing you, actually, and Andrew, you're the traitor. And it's just like... so wrong, and now it's just messed up everyone. All 3 of their game is being messed up.
I just love the way that Brie just went mad as well at the round table.
She's getting a bit more mad every episode.
Well, I mean, erratic is an understatement. I mean, that's carrying a lot of weight, that comment, that when Bailey said that Brie is becoming erratic, I thought to myself, oh God, yep, a little bit erratic.
I've noticed that Utah just looks confused all the time. I feel like he's not. He's one of those people who've not watched The Traitors. And he's just looking at the thing. He doesn't understand what's happening.
I think Utah
He's that contestant.
Utah went there thinking the game would be easier I think a lot of sometimes
He's
people
confused.
I think people go into the show thinking that it's going to be a little bit of fun. I think Noel is also one, actually, because Noel even said it's like, I'm not here to win, I'm here to play the game. It's fun. Ha ha ha. And I think he's did realise that
Now he's got all the blame on him and he doesn't know how it's happened.
That's what I mean. I feel like he's like he's a lot of weight is on his shoulders as well. I feel like he's very upset, and it's kind of messed him up a little bit. But also for Noel, his whole plan was for that day was to go around the group and kind of like get Andrew and Ciali, to try to clear the name, because they both openly said they were quite suspicious of him. And he felt like that they could kind of like talk to other people, and he wasn't able to join in the group. They were isolated. They were sent right away. They weren't playing the game or doing anything. And
I mean, probably they took the better option of not playing the game on the mission, I would say. But yeah, they were just in some random field digging for hours, and then
they didn't choose that though.
No, and then they were just put into the banishment room, the round table room, on their own, just sat in silence, getting more and more moody with each other. It was really odd, but yeah, the mission was it was a typical New Zealand Traitors mission, wasn't it? The type that we've come to expect.
What, a bit left
a bit
field,
weird, a bit I'm
weird.
to get me out of here.
Yeah, I quite liked it. Although even
it looked like the Taskmaster studio at one point. When
because it was all covered in tarp, like white, clear, like plastic, and so it looked like one of the rooms in Taskmaster UK. I'm not so sure if the same can be said.
Yeah,
we've watched the series
in New Zealand,
and they've got a room with.
Yeah,
almost like it's almost like an investigation scene, isn't it? It's like they know that that's going to be a room that's going to get messy. And to be fair, with poor old, who was it kept dry retching? Jane. Poor old Jane kept dry retching throughout the task. I felt a bit unfair for her.
At breakfast, they had to pick those three things, wasn't there? There was a foot, tongue, eye. We didn't really think much of it at the time. We thought it was just grotesque, but they did have meaning behind them, which we do enjoy. So yeah, you could either look at it, touch it, or taste it. Although the people with taste kind of took it a bit. Why were they eating it?
I know they didn't have to eat it. It wasn't that you had to eat the thing.
No.
It was just that you just had to. You could have just licked it.
Yeah, found out the shape of it with your tongue.
Give it like a lollipop.
But they were literally chewing it, shoving it in. It's like, what's coming back with seconds?
Well, I think to be fair, the only one who really went for it was Jane, and that's why Jane was dry retching.
One of the guys did. Was it Stephen or Jason? One of them was like
Jason was really enjoying himself. Jason was having a great time. I've really seen a new side of Jason this episode. He seems to kind of be like the jolly one watching from the sidelines, kind of just joining in every now and then with his thoughts and opinion. I like Jason a lot. And I think we shouldn't underestimate Jason, because I think he's one of those that he's getting away with kind of watching from the side.
He's going to be faithful, he's going to be there for quite a few episodes.
But I think he's going to be important. I feel like there's importance attached to him. I really do. And I don't know. I feel like he's one of those who's kind of gone there for fun, but I don't know. I just get a feeling from him that he's working it out.
He's going to be, I can see him being one of those that gets to the final and then trusts a traitor and gets his heart broken.
Yes, I could see
one of those,
I could see that too. Not
that we want that for Stephen.
No.
But, Mike's also suddenly on the hunt for Whitney.
Well, no, that's the thing, because Mike was suspicious of Whitney's occupation after she wrote down something, a cow's foot.
Yeah, when it was clearly...
Well, clearly from touch, you could tell it was not an intestine, it was a lung, It was a cow's lung.
And she's a funeral director,
so she should know what cow's lung. Yeah, she's buried many cows in the past. You know, when she's doing the autopsy, of course, she's sticking her hand inside the cows 24/7. So of course
she doesn't do the autopsy.
But I'm just showing how silly the comment Mike had made. Let's be honest. Mike, to be fair, was suspicious. But then I think Mike's looking for reasons to get rid of her. Get rid of Whitney, which is what I said right from the top.
Traitor.
That yes, Whitney is the top dog amongst the traitors. I think Mike's seen that, and I think Mike feels like he needs to kind of get her out because she could be very dangerous in his game.
So I think he'll be able to do, because Brittany's... Is it Brittany? Yeah, Brittany's on to Whitney.
Brittany and Whitney are still...
Pop divas are going at it.
They are, and they're still kind of battling out between them. I mean, before the round table had taken place, Brittany wanted to clear the air, and she did it in front of everyone who played the tasks. So it was practically really the round table, bar 3 people who were the ones who went to dig their grave, Noel, Bree and Andrew. And so in front of all of them, and they'd been drinking, they give them drinks early.
They have a lot of drink on this show, don't they?
Paul Henry.
Paul
Henry's giving it away.
Donna has a pint of lager and beer every shot. She's downing it. She's there all the time, like,
damaged liver,
non-stop.
Lick the liver, and it's damaged. And Whitney did kind of knock the ball back when she kind of served it to her. But I think, again...
Is that a sports analogy?
It is. I'm having a moment today. But Mike still kind of thought to himself, well, she's beginning to show herself up a little bit. And even Ciali said that he felt like there was a performance to Whitney. So I think Mike is seeing it, and I think he can start getting people on his side. But of course, if he needs... The most important person he needs to get on his side is Jane. Because Jane, I don't think would go against Whitney unless there's a good reason to do it.
Lots of people keep bringing up Jane's name, so if there's a way to get people off hers, she should.
We still don't know who's got the fake name.
We don't even know if someone does. We don't know, because no one ever picked that, so we don't know if it was true or false. Could have been false.
I thought it had been picked, and we just presumed it was.
No, we just presumed.
Oh, then it's false, isn't it?
How's your Noel and Molly
theory going?
With
not great, I must say. It's not going well.
That they're possibly related and/or in a relationship.
No, I'm not going to double down on it. I'm not going to start saying I'm adamant it's going to happen, because Molly was also one of the ones who joined the pack and started going for Noel tonight. So I think that you can pretty much quash my theory now, which is a real shame. To be fair, it was all based on the fact that one came from Canada and one came from America, and that they both lived on the same landmass.
Maybe Stephen is Molly's dad. You never know.
I still feel there's a secret there. I feel like there's a secret. The Series 2 secret has been consistent through all the versions. And I feel like New Zealand hasn't. America had one.
I can't remember the Americans.
UK had one. I'm not going to say them because it's a spoiler.
I want to know what the American one was.
Canada's only done Series 1, so get ready for the Series 2 Canada secret. But Australia didn't, to be fair, but then... We don't talk about Series 2 of Australia.
It's too upsetting.
But I just feel like it's there. I feel like there's something there. I just feel like there's some secret there, and I'm just trying to figure it out. This is me being a faithful, trying to work out.
Maybe the secret is that Whitney's not a funeral director. She offered Jackie a free funeral. She said, "When the time comes, I'll be there for you."
That's true.
Which is kind of morbid. She's basically saying, "When you die, I'll just host your funeral for you." But win's a win.
I mean, a free funeral is a free funeral. There are thousands.
How long does she have to wait? Who knows?
I hope it's a decompostable coffin.
She'll be shot into space, won't she? Jackie? She likes the stars and stuff.
She'll land on the moon.
There'll be lots of crystals and things, I imagine.
Crystals.
Yeah. Crystals, incense.
Maybe she'll just get teleported back up to her mothership. What... Do you think that, obviously, the whole point of the game, if you're faithful, is that you have to look for the traitors? But yes. I feel... Thank you. And thank you for watching. No, but do you think there's a little bit as well, like me coming up with this theory about Molly and Noel? There's been other times in other series where people come up with theories about maybe they're related or maybe they're playing a game together. Do you think that sometimes you need to root to find other secrets in order to win? For instance, Jackie... Like, she felt like her not telling them that she was clairvoyant was a tactical gameplay, because she said quite rightly as well, when we've always laughed about it too, that if you're a clairvoyant, you tend to go out of the game very quickly.
Although some of the time you just evict yourself.
Well, so that's true.
The track record isn't great.
I know the 3 traitors. but so do you think that sometimes you need to kind of like look for other things other than, do you know,
because you have nothing to go on, so you have to.
Yeah, so if someone
that's a bit like what Mike's done with Whitney. He knows that she's a traitor, but now he's still like, well, she's lying about her
that's
career.
What I'm saying. So do you think Mike is actually, despite him being a little bit out there with his theory, like she's not because she thought it was a foot, do you think that like the people should be playing a game like that though immediately, or is that going to send you a little bit like Brianna and send you more crazy?
Yeah, too much wine, Brianna.
No, it's not. I think there's a more deep set problem than that.
I think you need to play the game like Utah. Just don't know what's happening, and
I think you're being unfair to Utah here, because I think.
I've seen the look on his face quite a few times. Every time Paul Henry enters the room, he's confused. What's happening?
But look what happened again on many a series where someone who just doesn't know what's going on wins. They coast to their
Or
way
gets
to the final.
Yeah.
But for Utah, I feel like Utah and Jason are kind of just sitting back, enjoying the ride and getting the information that they need.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that like a lot of the younger ones are kind of like calling each other out for not being part of the game.
Yeah.
But the older ones aren't being called out
Bit
for
more
the same.
reserved.
Yeah, aren't being called out for the same.
It's weird because it's a bit dangerous sometimes being reserved because you could just get an easy murder. Whereas when you're actually calling out people and you may hit a traitor by accident, then you're kind of not going to get murdered because the traitor will think, if I murder you, they're going to think I am.
It's obvious.
Because you mentioned me. So I think that's what Brittany's done in a way. She's called out Whitney and now she can't murder her.
I mean,
because
people
suspect.
Well, we've said this before, that it's a very difficult balance to strike in this show, that if you're faithful, it's almost a more difficult game because you have to show that you're infused in wanting to be a part of the team and work out who the traitors are. But at the same time, if you do too much of that, you then seen as being a traitor because you're deliberately pushing people forward.
And if you don't get a traitor too soon, they just recruit anyway. So you want to know who the traitor... Because that's what Andrew did. He knew that Jackie was a traitor but didn't say anything because he thought, I won't get murdered. But then when it came out, all the faithfuls were like, well, you're not playing a proper faithful game. Now they've got rid of him.
Well, that was Andrew. So, right, if we go to the round table then, Andrew made a big mistake because Andrew, as you said, was the first one to kind of step forward, speak out, say that he thought it was Noel because Noel had casually mentioned that he's not
Him
getting
and Bree
murdered.
had been teaming up all day around the grave. They've got all the facts about it. Yeah.
So Noel had said he's not getting murdered, and he had not spent a lot of time with Jackie, and yet he had voted for her. And Ciarli said that when he walked into the room, because those three, Andrew, Bree, and Noel, were all sat there waiting for them at the round table. He said that he was the only one of the three that didn't look worried when they walked in. Well, the other two looked like, quote, shitting themselves.
Yeah, fucking spiders.
Yeah, fucking spiders.
That's what Utah's there to do.
But then before Noel could then defend himself, Bree, as you said, then stepped in and said, well, I'm going to surprise some of you here.
I'm going to knock your socks off, everyone.
I'm going to knock off all 8 of them. Noel, you attacked Noel all day, didn't you, Andrew? And Andrew's like, yes, I did. And she said, and I tagged along with you, didn't I? But I did that on purpose because I wanted you to think that I was on your side, but I'm not, because you want to get rid of Noel because you got suspicions of him. But actually, I think I've got suspicions of you because you got suspicions of Noel. And then Bailey then said, as I said, Bailey then said, you're insane. And Bree was like, I'm not insane. I've got a wedding to plan. Like, Christ almighty.
She's getting married. I wonder if she's married yet. But I know, it's just... It was all very bizarre, but it worked for the traitors because no one really looked at anyone else apart from these three.
It was
and
literally
the
those
next
three.
Episode seems like it's going to be these as well.
The funny
I don't know
thing
what's
is-
going to happen to not be Brianna or Noel to get banished.
The funny thing is that like Bree and Andrew and Noel had a really good opportunity, actually, that if they hadn't gone for each other, they could have gone for someone else as a collective. If all 3 of them had to work
Because
together.
Noel's a bit suspicious, though. He's acting a bit
But there are people
cocky.
who they're suspicious of.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's a couple of people are suspicious of, and I think that they weirdly didn't go for someone else. Like Whitney's name has been put out there, so's Brittany. I mean,
Well, Brittany wanted to go for Whitney, didn't she? But she didn't get the chance because it was so crowded with the Noel and Andrew, and it was...
I would say that the traitors have been clever, that they did deliberately go for the 3 names that were probably the most the people suspected the most after the last roundtable. Again, very smart move by the traitors. I have to say that these 3 traitors are pretty smart. They're not making any silly mistakes so far. I feel like they've not, as a collective, made a misstep. Individually, arguably, you could say that Whitney's made maybe 1 or 2 by being too enthusiastic.
She's getting to the point where she's getting a bit too confident of being good, which then has already shown Brittany's got her eye on it. Kat's got her eye on it.
Well, so's Mike. Mike's ready to stab that back.
I know it's a bit
immediately.
too soon to stab Whitney. I feel, Mike, but we'll see.
Is it too soon though? Is it too soon?
So Andrew did get banished in the end. Faithful.
Well, Andrew got banished. Oh yes, okay.
So we might as well get it.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Andrew.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Did you want me to join in?
No,
I'm
no.
sorry. I was reading my notes.
He's
sorry.
37, everyone. and he's a marketing executive. Right,
Andrew.
this marketing executive considers himself to be frighteningly good at deceiving people. I'm scared from just reading that, but one quick question. If everyone is so good at deceiving people, wouldn't the ultimate deceit be to not be deceitful, thus deceiving people with their own assumptions of deceit? Write your answers on a tiny blackboard. Paul Henry will be along shortly.
Sorry, was this about Andrew, or was this about the writer's theory about going around in circles about deceit?
Once again, I need to confirm that this isn't me who's written this fact file. I have got it from the wonderful thespinoff.co.nz, which I did last year as well, which I remember had these ridiculous bits of writing. But
have you
but
got
we
any
love
other
it.
information about Andrew? Because as we...
Well, last week, last episode, I found out lots
Well,
about...
I was about to say, anyone who's listened or watched the show will remember that Ben did find some additional information that... was it Willamoo, wasn't it?
It's a Willamoo, yeah, rode a bike to work.
Rode a bike to work. This was information we never knew. And that he had a private account.
Right, so Andrew, he's got 13 puppies.
That's
you know that?
cute.
He's visited 92 countries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's an addictive traveller. And that's about it.
Has he got nothing else on his Instagram?
That's just his
We're literally
Instagram.
looking on his Instagram now.
He loves dogs.
We're scraping the barrel.
He's got lots of
entertainment.
friends. He looks like he's been on a stage play. He's an
Okay.
actor.
Good.
He's got lots of friends, lots of travel, lots of beautiful photos. So, you know,
There you go.
there we are.
Well done. Let us know if you...
Oh, he's got golden retriever puppies.
Oh, if you want to...
If you want a puppy. Well,
Better like it quick, hadn't you?
yeah, I want a golden retriever, Andrew.
Andrew, if you're watching or listening to the podcast, then please let us know. Let us know some information like, do you ride a bike to work?
Picture of him topless on a beach.
Brilliant.
Riding a camel. So there you go.
Perfect.
That's Andrew's fact file.
I really
for
want
you
to
all.
know who does... Oh, I want to start off with like a poll. Who of the contestants of Series 2 of New Zealand Traitors ride a bike to work?
Oh, that's his boyfriend, I
Something
see.
to look forward to.
Right, so there you go. That was Andrew's fact file. I hope you
Fantastic.
now know everything about him. He's got lots of puppies.
You
for
might
sale.
argue this is a waste of time, but I found this
You might
enormously
argue it was a
entertaining.
waste of time, but I found it enormously entertaining.
Perfect.
Vegans will hate this.
Yes. So basically, we're left then with Noel and Bree.
Not much peril because one of them's going to be murdered. Unless something drastically goes
Well-
wrong next episode, one of them's going to be banished.
Are we going to talk about the preview that we accidentally watched by accident?
Oh, like the 2 seconds where they
There was a bit at
both
the
of
end saying
them-
next
yes.
time. So it looked like at the end that they both got given a letter from the traitors, which
Because normally the one who's murdered gets a letter,
gets a letter
but
and then
both
one
of
doesn't.
them.
So
had a
I
letter.
suggested that in private, you and me, but I decided to tell the other faithful out there that
Shana.
I think one gets recruited and one gets murdered. Now, this may sound a little bit weird.
You're not allowed to do that though. You're only allowed to do one or the other on a night.
Who says? I feel like this is a little counterproductive though, because as we said at the top, that Noel and Bree are basically damned if they do and damned if they don't, because they're literally going to be one murdered, and let's be honest, but unless they do a really good 180, which isn't unheard of, we've seen it in the past, we have seen it in the past, the other one is going to end up getting banished at the round table. Now, what is interesting to me is that if Noel or Bree does end up getting recruited, they then know who the other traitors are. They then have a little bit of an advantage where they could maybe, with Mike, push one of the traitors out. I think if Mike was thinking about getting rid of Whitney, this could be an opportunity for him, because this is fresh blood. This is a
Do
new
you think
person.
producers have stepped in here and changed it a bit because they're a bit worried it's going to be too predictable then? Because you can't normally murder and recruit at the same time. So have they thought,
I mean, it is predictable. Let's be honest. It is very predictable. We know if there was no interference, unless there's one hell of a turnaround, like, oh, when someone stood up, I saw a letter fall on the floor and it said...
out of their skirt.
Yeah, out of their skirt, and it said, Whitney's a traitor. I think that unless they do something like that, something maddening like that, that it's obvious that Bree or Noel, whoever doesn't get murdered, will go in the next episode. So episode 5 will literally be a kind of like a paint-by-numbers episode of the traitors. So I think it just adds a little bit of interest and peril if they did then recruit someone else. And I think this is Mike's opportunity to go for it. It's whether they can convince Jane to go for it too. I think if they can get all but Whitney on their side, I think the traitors are going to be in an incredible position, because that would be Jane, Mike, whoever gets recruited,
So who
Brittany. So that's
who are you
4.
going to murder? Who are you going to recruit then out of these 2 with your theory?
It depends on who gets the influential vote of who chooses what, because if they get Bree, I don't think Mike's got a chance.
I think Bree would be a bit of a dangerous traitor.
Exactly. I
She'd
think
be a bit unhinged with power.
But Noel's the one that they've seemed more convinced is a traitor. So I feel because of what Andrew, and also he kind of got Andrew out indirectly as well, by kind of like Andrew accusing him and then Andrew being the one they got rid of. So it's a tough one, but I think Noel would make better sense in the sense that Mike would be better off having Noel as a fellow traitor.
And if it's just a murder, I think Noel would be better to murder and then just have Brianna.
No, see, I disagree.
Make
I
a
think
fool of herself and get banned.
No, I think it'd be better.
The other
I think Bree. I think Noel. I don't think Noel would be able to get himself out of it, because Noel's also very. We saw around the round table that
he's a bit don't care-ish.
Not just that. Whenever he was fighting his cause, people interrupted him, and he just kind of went. Like he would getting like he'd let that happen, and he should stand his ground on something like this. Don't stand your ground in an angry, vicious, vindictive way, because as soon as you do that, then people start getting upset with you as well. But just be like, okay, I hear you. Now this is my point of view. And if they try to intervene, say no, my point of view is, and then just carry on. I get it. Again, I'm watching this from the outside, not in this situation, but you just, I don't know, just stand your ground, Noel.
Okay. So
Noel.
Everyone who is listening and or watching, let us know who you think is going to be murdered, if there's going to be a murder and a banishment. You've got a whole week to get in touch with us. We may be a bit late next week getting the episodes out because we've got commitments next week, but we'll try and get them out as soon as we can.
You can either look at them, touch them, or taste them.
But not all 3.
Shana.
So how can people get in touch with us if they want to give us any of their thoughts, theories, predictions about this series?
All of the above. You can email us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. You can find us on X/Twitter @TraitorsPodcast. You can find us on Instagram or Threads @FaithfulToTheTraitors. Don't forget to follow us on those social medias, by the way, because that helps promote us to other people. Another way you can help promote us is by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our podcast. If you subscribe on our YouTube channel by searching Faithful to the Traitors Podcast, you can also comment underneath the video with your thoughts and theories. If you're listening to us on Spotify or any of your favourite podcast apps, you can also watch us on Spotify.
Oh, you can, yes.
Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review.
Someone did comment saying, I love the podcast, not sure why you need a video. It's just an option.
Do you want to see our faces?
Production values, okay.
Production, yeah. Well, help with our production values, and there's another way you can do that, is by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, and you can throw a few silver bars our way. They're
not doing very well this series on silver bars, are they? These lot?
They're at $30,500.
30,000 of that was from one challenge on episode 1.
But maybe a little bit less. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. They talked about Char in this episud. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, 10k walk.
10k
this morning
walk
with Paul
around the premise.
That's how big
the perimeter. Sorry.
That's how big his. Let me just quickly.
Welcome to my lower field.
That's 5k to the lower field and then 5k back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So that's us done for the week. We'll see you again next time for the big double bill. Like we say, it will be a bit delayed, but until then, you ready?
Well, I've got something else to say.
Oh, okay.
I always follow Paul Henry now. What he says at the end of his episode.
What's he saying?
You can say yours afterwards.
Stay faithful.
And until breakfast, chickadees. Goodbye.